Welcome, everyone. It's week 3 of the NFL, and we're back with the line movers. This is Nick from the Iowa Wise Guys podcast, Zach here from Houston, Texas, and Tyler back. We're here to bring you some more action from featured games, a little bit of our insight on why we buy half points and why we play teasers, some more in-pocket plays, and that's it. So Zach, let's give everyone a little insight on why sometimes we tell you to buy a half a point in the NFL.
Well, I think there was two good cases this week. One being the Rams game at 3.5. I ended up not buying the half point. I like to get to the big numbers like 3, 7, 10. So if you got a favorite at 3.5 or 7.5, 10.5, might want to buy it down to the clean number. If you're taking the dog at 2.5, 6.5, might want to buy it up to the clean number. The other one was Tennessee plus 6.5. We almost got hooked again on that. They scored late to tie it up and won in overtime. But yeah, half points are huge in the NFL.
Yeah, so I guess the extra 20 cents in juice sometimes is worth the half a point. What about buying a half a point off of a number like 7, 3, 10 down to 9.5, 6.5, or 3.5?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're looking at that favorite and you have a 7-point line and you really like, say, Kansas City, buying them down to 6.5, in the long run, it's going to help you out, even paying that extra juice.
Okay, absolutely. So that's just a little bit in the NFL on why we recommend buying a half a point sometimes, why sometimes it's important to get off of a key number, a field goal game, touchdown game, 10-point game, field goal and touchdown. Big reasons why sometimes when you see our plays, we're recommending to buy the point to get to 7, to get you off of 6.5, or maybe to get you off of 2.5, or to get you off of 3 down to a 2.5. Or sometimes if we send a play out early on a 2.5, that's possibly why we don't have to buy the point later. So let's move into teaser action and why it's important to tease. I'll let everyone know this past weekend, I was big on the Steelers down to 1.5, 2 from a 6.5. It didn't work no matter what you did with the Steelers, unless you teased it by like 20 points. So Nick, explain to us, how often do you play teasers and what do you like to do when you're looking for a teaser option in the NFL?
Yeah, so I play NFL teasers weekly. I think one of the most popular betting options in pro football is the 2-team 6-point teaser. Longtime bettors know what that is. If you're a new bettor, a 2-team 6-point teaser is a bet in which you move the line 6 points in your favor on both sides, both legs, but you have to win both legs of the teaser to cash. So an example would be a 10-point favorite, teasing them down to a 4-point favorite. They're called teasers because that's really what they are. They tease you into making bad decisions. And traditionally, teasers are a losing proposition, but advanced strategies and studies have exposed one exception. Let's cover the do nots first. Do not tease college football. Do not tease any basketball. Do not tease NFL totals. The one exception is NFL sides in a certain situation. And one situation where you can put the odds in your favor with a very tight window is if you cross both the key numbers of 3 and 7, which Zach was talking about earlier, about getting off those numbers by buying half points. And, if you can get off or get through both those key numbers in one swoop, then it's a moneymaker. So that would mean, 7.5 down to 1.5, a 7.5-point favorite down to 1.5, an 8-point favorite down to 2, or an 8.5-point favorite down to 2.5. And also I would include 7 points down to 1 is okay as well on a favorite. And then on the underdogs, 1.5 up to 7.5, 2 up to 8, and 2.5 up to 8.5. A rule of thumb is never cross 0. So if you only use those teams that fit that criteria, you would put the odds in your favor. Sharps have been doing it for years. It hasn't been that public until maybe in the last decade or so. But, people ask all the time, I do use 7 down to 1 for a favorite. I would never use a 7-point or a 1-point dog up to 7, because as we talked about, the majority of NFL games land on a 3 or a 7-point outcome. So those are numbers that you want to get through, not beyond.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to try to bring you guys a little bit more content beginning of all of our videos from now on, teaching you why you see some of our bets the way you see them, what our thinking is through the content. We're going to give it to you through content instead of just through text. If there's anything you'd like to see, you can let us know in the daily emails or on Twitter at @the_LM Network. Just DM us, let us know what you would like us to break down, any sports. I know we got some random soccer leagues and hockey leagues you're seeing pop up on our Twitter every day, all day. Just send us a message and we'll help you out. Let's get into the featured games this week. 1 p.m. We got Chiefs, Chargers. Chargers are visiting Arrowhead. It'll probably be pretty loud there. I think we have it at 6.5 right now, and 6.5 and 55.5. Zach, where are you going with this one?
I think this is a tough game. I know that line opened at 8. It's down to 6.5. A lot of people might be jumping on Kansas City because you're under that 7-point mark that we just talked about. The Chiefs offense is not going to be stopped in this game. Their defense has not looked great either. So I expect Herbert and the Chargers to put up some points. A little bit of a lean on the over that's also up a significant amount for good reason. Patrick Mahomes is thrown for 680 yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, 76% completion rate. Edwards-Helaire has got to be licking his chops after the Chargers gave up nearly 200 yards on the ground to the Cowboys. I don't have a play on this game personally. If I had to, I would lean the over, but I'm just going to watch the game for great entertainment on the offensive side of the ball, and we'll see.
Yeah, I expect a great game. I agree with a lot of what Zach said. I do lean to the over in this game. The Chiefs running game has not been very strong to start the year. This is the type of game where you can get it right. You're at home. You can get Edwards-Helaire moving a little bit on the ground. I like the Chiefs offense to score some points, but I also like the Chargers to score some points as well. So I do lean to the over. As Zach alluded to, this game opened up over a touchdown. And if you like the Chargers, that would have been the price to get it at. Now you're getting it at 6.5. You got a bad number. Maybe it gets back up to 7. I doubt it. I do still think that this game will be a close game. The Chargers, I think that when it was in LA last year, went into overtime. Chiefs won in overtime. And then week 17, the Chargers won, but I think you can throw that one out the window. So division game, I still like the Chargers. I still lean the Chargers even at 6.5. But if that's your play, you needed to get it sooner than today.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely hard to start playing games once they get into the division games. Week 3, don't really have too much of a feel for these teams. All we really know right now is Kansas City cannot stop anyone through the air. Lamar Jackson started throwing the ball on them. It's going to be tough. Kansas City's got probably one of the worst passing defenses in the league right now. They're averaging, I think, 6 yards a catch. They really need to start getting bodies on defenders in the box, start jamming receivers. Herbert is an accurate quarterback. He's going to throw the ball all over the place. They have to hope to not struggle in the red zone like they did last week against the Cowboys. They got to put the ball in the end zone if they want to keep up with the Chiefs, because the Chiefs are going to score points. Divisional game, more than 3. I would probably take the 6.5, even though it's come down a little bit, but I don't recommend any of it. It's a divisional game and you don't know what's going to happen. These teams know each other and it could stay under as well. So let's get to the 4 o'clock action. This is a good game and I'm excited for it. It's got my St. Louis Rams Super Bowl ticket contending to stay undefeated against the Buccaneers. Nick, what do you got here?
I like the Rams. I like the Rams at home. I think that teams are having success through the air on Tampa, and I think that will continue this weekend. So, yeah, give me the Rams plus 1.5.
I agree. I agree with Nick there. This is probably the game of the week, potential NFC championship matchup, both 2-0. Brady's got to travel, Brady in Tampa's got to travel across the country to face the Rams. Never a good thing. I don't know. I think that the Rams, both defenses are tremendous here. I know Tampa hasn't looked that way. They didn't look that like that at the beginning of last season, but as the season went on, they get better and better. I really like the under. It's gone up to 55.5 in this game. I see this being not your typical regular season matchup. It's going to have a feel of the postseason, which we'll probably or maybe get to see later on again. 55 is too many points for these defenses. If you want to beat Tom Brady, you've got to get inside pressure. I expect to see a lot of stunts and blitzes from the inside. Aaron Donald and those Rams can get it done. I like the Rams money line and under.
I agree here with the under. I'm also on the under 55.5. I got it just before this podcast. I was actually surprised it was in the 55s. I was expecting more like a 49 here. I'm expecting the defenses to show up. I like the Rams' physicalness on the outside. I think they match up well with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. So Antonio Brown's going to have to make plays. I think the linebacker core is physical enough to cover Gronk. Aaron Donald obviously can create problems inside, and the Tampa Bay running game hasn't gotten off and running yet. Atlanta started coming back on them before Matt Ryan showed who Matt Ryan really is. And I really think the Rams are more excited for this game than Tampa Bay is. So in that sense, you can give me the Rams here, and I'll definitely be on the under here. Like I said, I'm already on it. So
A side note there too, Tyler, is I believe Antonio Brown has been put on the COVID list today. So Antonio Brown will not be available on Sunday.
Yeah, that sounds like the line's going to move pretty fast on that one. Then if Antonio Brown is out, that's the slot receiver there. That's your guy that they're moving all over the field to create mismatches and problems for defenses. Remember, he kind of is still a number one receiver. So in my eyes, I don't know about anyone else. Sunday Night Football, 49ers, Packers. I believe we're going to have the Packers travel out to San Francisco. Never goes well for Green Bay. They usually lay an egg here, fall asleep. Strong Monday night game. Do they have another strong game in them, or are we going to watch them lay another egg in San Francisco?
I mean, this was the NFC Championship a couple years back. I mean, here I just don't think that Green Bay has the talent or firepower from what we've seen thus far to compete with San Francisco. I mean, they're missing their all-pro offensive tackle. They're missing their best pass rusher, Zadarius Smith. I think that the San Francisco 49ers is going to be all over Aaron Rodgers. That offensive line has not looked good. Give me San Fran here. I'm not touching the over-under. Aaron Rodgers, they got it going last week in the second half. Could see that continue on. I don't see it. Give me San Fran. Probably going to buy the half point like I did in last week with the Rams. As we discussed earlier, get that down to 3 and give me San Fran.
Yeah, I'm siding with Zach on this. Exact same thing that I would do. I'd take San Francisco here. Well documented Green Bay struggles on the West Coast over the last couple of years. It's been very public. And, one half of football against the Detroit Lions doesn't prove to me that Green Bay's got it figured out. I like San Francisco here. I'll also buy the half point.
Yeah, Packers fan here, cannot back the Packers. I suggest buying the half a point, taking the 3, and playing it. It's the team doesn't play well in San Francisco. San Francisco runs the ball well. The Packers don't stop the run. They don't stop the way that San Francisco runs the ball with the zone running. It's just a different kind of blocking. The Shanahans have always done it. Green Bay's never played well against San Francisco since then. I'll take the 3. I'll take the half a point, and I'll take the 3. All right, Monday Night Football. Zach, your Cowboys facing the Eagles here. It's going to be a good game. It's in Dallas, so the crowd should be a little less rowdy than what it is here in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia. But nonetheless, it is an NFC East showdown, and we should see a great game, right?
I expect it to be a really great game. I was surprised that this was more than a 3-point line. I've already missed one NFC East. The Giants and the Redskins was a 3.5-point line. Should have taken it, knew better to take it, and I didn't because I had no faith in the Giants. Here, I think the Eagles obviously have a much better defense. The Cowboys defense is horrendous. Last week versus the Chargers, I don't know how many 3rd and 10 pluses that they gave up, where wide receiver, the defense wasn't even close. I mean, it was just an easy pitch and catch all game. Chargers really killed themselves with penalties and turnovers. I think the Eagles defense is great here. I think Mike McCarthy, as we saw at the end of that Cowboys game, is just a horrible coach. Give me the Eagles and the points all day in this one.
Yeah, I think this is the hardest game to handicap that we've talked about, especially sitting at 3.5. Obviously, Dallas's secondary is very poor, but I still think you got to be able to keep up with Dallas, even despite Mike McCarthy's ineptness. To beat Dallas, you're going to have to score points. I'm not so sure that Jalen Hurts can keep up with Dak Prescott in a shootout. I think I would probably, this is a lean. This isn't an official play for me, but I would probably buy the half point and still take Dallas here. I just think that this is the first time Jalen Hurts has played in Dallas with fans. And I think that home crowd is going to be hopping. It's the opener this year in Dallas. So those are some things I've been thinking about. I'd buy the half a point and take Dallas and Dak to outscore Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, if anything here, divisional game. I said it with the Chiefs. I said it with, I think, a divisional game earlier last week. But I back unders in divisional games. Just the way these teams know each other better. That's the way I see it. 52, a high number in my eyes. It's the last couple of years, these used to be sitting at like 44 to 46. So I'll take the under 52 and maybe hope for a 27-24 game, get out of there by a 1-point win. I don't know, something close. Divisional game, I see it being close. So I would want the 3.5 if I was getting points, and I would not want to give the 3.5 if I was going to give them. So that's all for the games this week, folks. Nick, me and you talked off air a little bit before about our record and things like that, and about why we're doing the games we're doing on the podcast. So quickly, our record is from last week. We all went 3-2. Collectively on the show, we're all above 500, and gambling is all about being a little bit above 500 to break even. You've got to be above 56, 57% to be a successful gambler long term. But the point here, Nick, tell them why we're choosing the games we're choosing and what we just discussed before we went on air through text.
I think these are similar conversations to what we had on the Wise Guys when we started putting games out there. And I think it's important for content to highlight the most popular games and the most popular bet on games of the year, or of the week, throughout the year. And I think that that's the direction that we've started to go here, is to highlight the big games, the most played games of the week, and give our leans. They might not be official plays. We might say we lean this direction, but we're trying to give the common bettor an idea of where we would put our money if we were going to play that game. And I think if you subscribe and you get the official plays, then you're going to be able to get some of these games that maybe aren't going to be the most watched games, whether it's college, pro, soccer, those types of things on Line Movers Network that maybe aren't going to be broken down in depth because they're not as popular of a game, but you'll get those official plays. But I think when we're doing the show, I think you want to highlight the best games of the week, the most watched games, to attract to a more larger group of people.
Yeah, guys, that's specifically why we're calling it featured games. We're picking the best games we see on the schedule each week. Sometimes it'll be more than 4. Sometimes it could be less than 4, but that's really the reason for that segment there. No surprise question this week. We squashed that with the teasers and the half point concept in the beginning. Zach, what do you have in your pocket this weekend?
So I have kind of a comical ad that I had this week. I was just discussing with a buddy of mine, and we got to talking, and we were like, "Are we really talking about Sam Darnold, potential MVP?" I know it's comical, but he's on a team that I think is a lot better than people think. Their defense has looked a lot better than we expected. He's got Christian McCaffrey, who makes every quarterback's life a lot easier when you can just dump it off to him and watch him rack up yards after the catch. He's got some receivers. Robbie Anderson, who he's familiar with from the Jets, is good. And then when you got defenses creeping up to try to stop Christian McCaffrey, you're going to see a lot of balls that could potentially get over the top. I think it's a shot in the dark. I put a 1/10 unit on it at plus 10,000. But at those odds, I'll give it a shot. Let's go Sam Darnold.
Nick, what do you got in your pocket?
Yeah, to follow up on the Sam Darnold plug there and our teaser talk, my teaser of the week, if you will, would be teasing Carolina down to 2-point favorite from an 8-point favorite, and add in Arizona from a 7 or 7.5 point favorite down to 1 and 1.5 against Jacksonville.
Love that.
Yeah, so I did right before the podcast pick up the Raiders because of the Tua news. I also got the Rams under right before the podcast. So those are both in pocket plays already. I'm looking at this line here, Christian McCaffrey to score a touchdown and the Panthers to win, sitting at minus 140 on FanDuel. And then I like the Dolphins under 20.5. The Raiders defense really impressed me in Pittsburgh, going to their home turf, Tua out. What are the Dolphins going to do with Tua out? They seem to not be playing as a team. A little bit of division. Was Tua staying? Was Tua going? Who's going to throw him the ball? Who wants to play? Who wants to leave? Not Xavier Rhodes in the offseason. Cornerback in the offseason. Who was that for them that wanted to leave? Their star cornerback wanted to leave. And Will Fuller didn't even want to suit up until week 3. Now he wants to play. So I lean Dolphins under 20.5 as well. So those are the in-pocket plays I have. Anything else you guys have you want to add before we get out of here?
No, I'll be sending some of my leans and info for this upcoming week on my Twitter. Other than that, I don't have anything right now.
Yep. Make sure you're following everybody on Twitter. A lot of good stuff on Twitter. Zach puts a lot of good stuff out there. 1.2 I want to make that I really enjoy is the Line Movers Network putting out some plugs on all these promos out there that these apps are offering. There's a lot of promos out there every week that people aren't taking advantage of. So make sure you check out the Line Movers Network newsletter to get all that information.
Yeah, guys. And also, you did miss a big college football week on the Iowa Wise Guys podcast. I believe we went a collective maybe 14-3. So if you're looking for more picks, more breakdowns, college football, the Line Movers has a show. Iowa Wise Guys has a podcast you can listen to anywhere, in the car, on your way to work, on your way home, in the bathroom, with your headphones on while you're mowing grass. Turn it on, guys. Get some more winners. Have fun this weekend. Follow us on Twitter. We actually have a post right now on Twitter. You can give us your email, join the list, and sign up. We'll send you some emails daily. Have fun. Let's enjoy week 3. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Keep it going.
This video was brought to you by River Donkeys Poker Club, but not in association with the Line Movers Network. Start playing today by downloading the app on Google Play or the Apple iTunes Store by searching for Poker, 4 R's with the number 2. Search for the group 5AZR7 to start playing poker today.